Alright, in this video, we're going to show one of the things that we like to do a lot with our work, and that is add in text, creating a way to not only digitally account for your work, but also physically. If the parts are printed, we can print off text just as easy as we can print off everything else. So watch this. I'm going to hit New Sketch, and I'm going to click on this edge right here of the parts, and I'm going to click down till I see text. Now this feature pops up with this A here, not a lot of information going on, but basically I click to establish where the text is going to start. You type in your text here. I typically like to start off with my initials, and you see a representation of the text. I don't really like where it is, so I'm going to kind of drag it down with a click. And you also see there's some other options here. There's the text height. There's the angle of the text. I could set this at a funky angle if I wanted to. I don't really want to. I can make it bold. I could even change the font to a different font if I want to. See this little slider here? You can get a little bit more font options. Let's say Arial Black. It's nice and bold, a little bit too big now, so I'm going to take it back to 9 millimeters. And maybe I want to underline it. Maybe I don't. How about italics? Nope, don't like that either. Anyway, I've created a quick 2D sketch of my initials, 9 millimeters in height, that being roughly this way, and proportion, of course, and I hit OK. So now, there's the piece of text, but you'll notice it's still a 2D creation. And what do we do to 2D to make it 3D? We simply hit Create, get our cursor right over top of the text, click it, and we see the extrusion option. I'm going to type it in as 1 here, maybe actually 1.5, just because we know you can usually print that without having to have support material. And bam, I have now added my initials to establish that this is my part creation digitally and physically if I print it off. Here's what I want you to do. Pause the video and go do the exact same thing. Don't use my initials, of course. Use yours. But go check it out. Alright. Now, assuming that you've done that, keep in mind what you can use text for. Text can be used to identify it's yours, or it could be a logo for a company. It could be instructions. One of the things that we're seeing folks use text for is to create placards and guides and jigs, so you can actually write out instructions. Let's say you're going to 3D print a warning sign. Well, that wouldn't be a big deal. You could actually just draw the rectangle as normal, or maybe some kind of sign shape. Let's say you're going to 3D print a mailbox, mailbox numbers. You could actually design the part and then extrude out, you know, your address, whatever it happened to be, and extrude it out physically. Or you could say, you know, do not touch, in case you're making a logo or placard for an electrical device you don't want people to shock themselves with. We've actually done that a lot in the lab because we have so many wiring, parts, electronics. A lot of times we have to make our own warning signs and protection devices to keep people from potentially shocking themselves by grabbing whole exposed wires. So you have a lot of capability with the text tool to take your creation and make it even more interesting. Now, conventionally speaking, if you were to cut this out, this would be very expensive. But with 3D printing, no problems at all. You can add text all over the place. So take advantage of this text command. Let the ideas just pop in and out of your head of what all you can do with this command. Great command, has a lot of features. You can always edit stuff. You know, we can hit our modify here, get our text if we can, and we can individually create our text, pulling it in and out, change our extrusion. Again, I set it to 1.5 for a reason, because if you actually print this part in the vertical direction that I have here, it would require support material. So we found that if you stick to extrusion of only 1.5, or at most, it can sometimes get 2, but 1 to 2 millimeters off the surface of whatever you're printing will typically go without having to have supports underneath. So keep that in mind. Anyway, what I want you to do next is, assuming you did your initials, I want you to go create some other text around your object. Use some of the other sides, maybe a letter or two, maybe a question mark, maybe an exclamation point. You know, it's only a matter of time before emojis become part of our text culture to actually embed as well. So whatever you want to create, go use your new sketch tool and some text to create it on your object. Make it your own. Pause the video and do that now. Alright. Good start to some of the work. We'll check out another tool in a bit.